Kendall with Stromsoe Insurance, and we are here today with business protection coach Vanessa to talk about some questions that people have about their insurance. Hi, Vanessa.
Hi.
So, Vanessa, we had somebody ask what they should consider when shopping for nonprofit insurance.
Well, as I mentioned, the D&O is one that's really popular, but of course, they're going to need liability insurance that covers them on their premises for any claim that's brought against them. That's bodily injury or property damage type of claim. But it's also really important to consider a voluntary an actual policy that is for volunteers. It's an accidental policy is what we call it. And that basically gives the coverage that they need extended to the volunteers. So if they're the volunteers, because nonprofits depend on them for, some of their events, and say a volunteer gets injured and they're bringing about medical claims, then instead of it actually being reported on their general liability policy, if it is something that is a small medical claim, an accidental policy would pick that up. So it really wouldn't affect their general liability policy. Also, there is another added coverage that can be on their policy, especially the D&O. It's called sexual misconduct. And that is in the event any employee or volunteer that is part of their organization says they're going out in the public, right? And a lot of times nonprofits are dealing with populations that are vulnerable. So it could be, children, elders, different, types of situations that they can find themselves in where maybe that sexual misconduct comes up and then that person gets penalized for it, whether it's, they go to jail and then a lawsuit's brought against them, then they're going to go after the actual nonprofit. So that actual coverage will give them the extended protection to defend themselves in a lawsuit. So that's another one to really consider. Also, lastly, one that's being looked at more by us, but it is an oversight that a lot of nonprofits do not take into consideration, is the cyber liability. And cyber liability right now is being mentioned more and more, only because we live in a society where everything is done online. And a majority of nonprofits have some cyber liability exposure because they are taking donations online. And even if it's not online, it might be an app that they have. And so accepting those donations, they are actually collecting data from someone else. And so it's really important to have that protection, because if there is any type of breach that occurs and their system gets hacked and that information is leaked, they would be fined tremendously. And having that coverage will give them that protection to pay for those legal costs and also all the costs that are involved with the regulations in the state. So it's really important to consider that, because even if it's not online, there is always still some system that they have in place where they collect donors' information. And so that's one that I really want, people to know that it is something as nonprofit that they should have in place.
Well, thank you, Vanessa, for sitting down with us. You gave us some really great information. If you have any questions, you guys, that you want us to answer, put them in the comments or send them in a message, and we will make sure to get those asked next time. And we will see you in the next Stromsoe Insurance Ask the Agent.